Hey everyone, you're tuned in with Cesar, and I'm going to respond to Dave Ramsey's comment about my $500 living situation in Chicago. He asked,
They're not shooting down the street, are they?
are they shooting?
So is your personal residence paid off as well? Or are you a buyer yet?
I am renting at the moment in Chicago, and this is my situation for renting. It's a 2-bedroom. It's $1,000 a month, and I'm splitting it with a roommate, $500 each.
Wow.
Stole that.
So you're not in a hurry to get out of that?
No, that's a deal.
I know. So
I assume they're not shooting down the street, are they?
No, they're not actually. They're not shooting down the street.
Right.
So as you can see in the video, Dave Ramsey asked, am I living in a neighborhood that they're shooting? And I responded, no. I obviously had some hesitation responding because that was a very funny question. Along with Dave Ramsey, there's a lot of people in the comments responding to that exact question that he asked me. So I really want to clarify my $500 living situation. Okay, so the real rent of the 2-bedroom apartment that I live in is $1,000. However, I split this rent with a roommate, which is why my rent is $500. In Chicago, $500 really cannot get you anything unless you're deep in the hood. But I got really lucky. This is a very rare find. Do not get me wrong. This is not a top-notch apartment. This is not stainless steel appliances. This is not huge master bedrooms. That is not included in the package. But it is a very livable situation. That is also a situation where I am living below my means until my next move, whatever that's going to be. I know some people that are paying $3,500. That's 50-75% of their paycheck to live downtown. I don't need that right now. I don't know why people have this urge to live in this high fine lifestyle. Don't get me wrong. I want to live that way. I do want to live that way, but I don't need to. I don't have a strong desire to do that. That type of desire is going to keep people broke. It's going to keep them broke. They're going to look like they have money. They're going to flaunt like they have money, but they ain't really going to have money. That's why I live in this $500 rental situation. So if I was going to give any type of advice to anybody, do baby steps. Elevate your rental situation step by step. If you lived in one place one year that was like really, really crappy, next year, yeah, upgrade a little bit, but just don't jump to the penthouse unless you have that type of money. But just don't jump, because then there's no satisfaction in that journey. And that's what I'm really trying to communicate with the people that I love and that I also currently live with. Like, hey, like, we don't have to jump from here to this penthouse where we can start a YouTube channel. We can start the YouTube channel here, and then the next place that we're moving to or going to, let it elevate one more step. Because by the time we get, to the penthouse, even if we even get a penthouse, like, it's gonna be way more satisfactory. Like, hey y'all, look where we started. Look where we started and look where we're at. And I think there's a lot of satisfaction in that. So going back to Dave Ramsey, are they shooting in my neighborhood? Vehicle hijackings are at a high. Robberies are at a high in Chicago. Like, you have to stay with your head on the swivel. You can't take your safety, your peace for granted. Even in the best neighborhoods in Chicago, this is happening. So yeah, I'm like not living in the deep South Side where there's a gang war going on. But don't get me wrong, there's gang wars on the north side of Chicago, But I'm not exactly living in that type of situation. So I want everybody to know that that's not the case. So there are a few ways that I felt when Dave Ramsey said that. First of all, I felt like Dave Ramsey was joking but serious at the same time. I did not take that question offensive or at heart, because if someone told me that same thing, I would probably ask the same question. Yo, what hood are you living in? Because it sounds like a dangerous place for that amount of money. So his question was a valid question, and I want you all to know that. Number two, I feel a little disheartened because that is the reality of Chicago and of this market. If you're paying lower amounts of money, you're probably going to be living in an area that has more crime. And number 3, I was able to laugh about it because that is not the case in my situation. So how was I able to get this type of deal in Chicago? I gotta say, as a young person, I've always moved around different locations, different rental properties with my parents, and we were always moving to different locations. So number 1, I really know how to move furniture. And number 2, I guess throughout that process, I learned how to find properties that are affordable to live in and are in decent neighborhoods. But if you want to learn about the exact way that I found this property, although I don't remember the specifics, I do know what I do to find affordable rental properties in okay neighborhoods of Chicago. So this is what I do. I will go on sites like Zillow, but when I go on these sites, the cost of these apartments on the market in Zillow are always above market price. And so another thing that I do is I also go to Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist to look at rental properties. Last but not least, which is oftentimes one of the most effective ways of finding deals on rentals in Chicago, is that I actually drive through the neighborhood. I look for rent signs and I call the phone number on the signs. And when I find a rental unit that way, it's always, always, always cheaper. So you all are now probably still wondering, hey, where are you living in Chicago for $1,000? The neighborhood that I'm living in is called Avondale. Now, the $1,000 2-bedroom apartment is still way under market price. In Avondale, it's really walkable. There's a street called Milwaukee that goes straight downtown. There's a train nearby that goes downtown or to O'Hare Airport. There's a lot of authentic food and etc. So I'll actually drop an article for you so you can learn a little bit more about Avondale. But at the end of the day, it's predominantly a Hispanic neighborhood. Look at me. But there are a lot of new buyers in town, if you know what I mean. So that is raising property values, and whoever owns right now in this area is very lucky. That is where I live. Are they shooting? No, but at the same time, I'm still always aware of my surroundings. I have to be, because even in the best of neighborhoods, vehicle hijackings are at an all-time high. Robberies are at an all-time high. So whether I live here or in the best of best neighborhoods in Chicago, you always have to be aware, stay on your P's and Q's, because you can't just walk around ignorant to your surroundings. Sometimes I see things that are suspicious. Sometimes I see things that are beautiful, but I always keep my head up and on the swivel. You always have to. So yeah, this neighborhood is in Avondale. You can check out the article that I'm gonna drop in the chat or in the description about Avondale. Well, thank you for joining my response to Dave Ramsey asking if they're shooting in my neighborhood, which they're not. Please hit the subscribe. You're tuned in with Cesar. We are out. Peace.